never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my standing, go out of this world and right on time. Oh, never in my life have I seen the sky light up like this. I'm far away from Earth and I wanna know if you exist. Mission control, do you read me? Send me my coordinates lately. Mission control, am I drifting? Tie me to someone who will love me, yeah. Wait, I think I'll last a bit longer, fine.
Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd family a part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. Not only is it a Friday, it's officially the month of July now. So now you can officially start saying that football starts next month because we have NFL preseason that starts in August. High school football starts in August. And of course, college football week 0 is at the end of August. So I figured what better way to celebrate football season actually almost being here than to do another video about college football. Now, in a few minutes, I'm going to give you some of my thoughts on the rumor that came out yesterday about USC and UCLA trying to go to the Big Ten starting in 2024. But first, earlier this week, I believe it was on Tuesday, I gave you my personal opinion of the top 14 quarterbacks in the SEC as far as who was the best and who was the worst. And I told you I would try to do it for every Power 5 conference before the season gets here. So today we're going to do the Big 12. Now, of course, it's called the Big 12, but it's only 10 teams, whereas the SEC is 14 teams. So this list is not quite as long, but it's all 10 quarterbacks in the Big 12, and I'm going to rank them from best to worst. In my personal opinion, the best quarterback in the Big 12 is Dylan Gabriel at Oklahoma. Number 2 is Blake Shapen from Baylor. Number 3 is Max Duggan of TCU, but I think TCU is going to be complete garbage this year. If they win 5 games, to me, that'll be a success. So I don't think Max Duggan will get the credit he deserves. But if you watch the Horned Frogs play, you'll see how good Max Duggan is. Number 4 is JT Daniels of West Virginia. He's always had talent. His problem is he just can't stay on the field. But if he can stay on the field this year and stay healthy, I think the Mountaineers can win about 8 games. Number 5 is Quinn Ewers from Texas. Number 6 is a guy that a lot of people have ranked higher than this as far as not only in the Big 12, but overall in the country. But I don't, and that is Spencer Sanders of Oklahoma State. And the only reason I don't is because, to me, he's too inconsistent. There was games last year where he looked great. And there was one game towards the end of the season, I'm not quite sure which game it was. It may have been Oklahoma, but one of their games towards the end of last season, he threw 3 picks in the first half and could have threw more. He looked absolutely pitiful. So he has talent, but he's got to show me he can be more consistent with it before I rank him any higher than number 6 in the Big 12. Number 7 is Donovan Smith of Texas Tech. Number 8 is Hunter Deckers of Iowa State. Number 9 is a name that we all know. That is Adrian Martinez of Kansas State. The same quarterback that was at Nebraska for about 114 years has transferred to Kansas State. And just like Spencer Sanders, he's got talent, but he's always been inconsistent. So I don't know if transferring to Kansas State will help him any. It can't hurt, but I don't know if it'll help. If he could just be average every game, he'll be okay. But he'll have one game where he's really good and one game where he's just flat out awful and can't hit water falling out of a boat. If he would just be consistent and be mediocre every game, it'd be better than what he's been so far in his first 100 years of college football. And number 10 is Jalen Daniels of Kansas. Of course, he sucks because, well, it's Kansas. And that is my personal opinion of who is the best and who is the worst quarterback in the Big 12, with all 10 quarterbacks ranked 1 through 10 as we head into the 2022 college football season. Now, there was a rumor that started yesterday that USC and UCLA are both going to try to go to the Big 10 starting in 2024. And the reason why I say it's rumor is because it's not official as of yet. But more than likely, what happened is I believe those two schools are a package deal, kind of like Oklahoma and Texas both leaving the Big 12 going to the SEC. And a lot of people have always said that if Clemson was to leave the ACC and go to the SEC, Florida State would follow them because they're a package. So I believe that either UCLA or USC, I don't know which school made the decision first, but I believe whichever school decided that they want to leave to go to the Big 10, they called the other school, and the other school said, hey, if you guys are going, we are too. But of course, we're not quite sure yet if it's going to happen. And if it does happen, why is it happening? Because you look at it, and geographically, it makes absolutely no sense. I believe that Piscataway, New Jersey, which of course is the home for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, would be the longest road trip for USC. And just out of curiosity, I looked it up on Google, and it's 2,800 miles from Southern California to Piscataway, New Jersey. That is a heck of a road trip. And it's not just the road trip, it's the time zone. You're going from Pacific time to Mountain time to Central time to Eastern time. What if you do all that traveling and you get there and the game is at noon, which of course is 9 a.m. on the West Coast. By the time the game ends, it's almost 4 o'clock Eastern, which is 1 o'clock on the West Coast. And about the time you get used to the time difference, you're heading back out to the West Coast. That's just a lot of traveling, a lot of time difference. It doesn't make any sense, so there's got to be a reason for it. And it may just be the fact that USC and UCLA both know that the Pac-12 sucks, and they want to go to a conference that doesn't suck, because the Pac-12 has been so bad now for a few years that even if USC went 11-1 this year, if they weren't USC, most people would say, hey, they don't deserve to be in the playoffs because the Pac-12 is garbage. Whereas if UCLA went 11-1, since they don't have the tradition and the fan base and the following that USC has, most people would say, hey, UCLA went 11-1, but the Pac-12 sucks. Don't put them in the playoffs. They haven't beaten anybody. So maybe they just want to go to a conference that's better so that they can be more relevant. I don't know. A lot of people say it's all about the money, and if it is, then they're wrong for doing it, because if you look at how many years Rutgers has been raking up millions and millions of dollars for playing in the Big 10, which is the richest conference in America, and guess what? Rutgers still sucks. Look at how many years Vanderbilt has been raking up all this money for playing in the SEC, and guess what? They still suck. Look at how many years South Carolina's been raking up money for playing in the SEC, and guess what? They still suck. Last I checked, making all that money doesn't make you win. So if they're going just for the money, then they're going for the wrong reasons. So I don't think it's that. I think it's something besides that. Now, of course, There's been a rumor for a long time that the NCAA is eventually going to be knocked off, so to speak, in the world of college football. And it may still be around, but, they'll be the boss and the head honchos of the group of five schools and a lot of the smaller, lower tier Power Five schools, but not the big time schools. So, of course, this starts this rumor again. Now they're saying that it's going to be two conferences, and it's going to be the Big Ten and the SEC. And both of those conferences are going to have right around 25 teams apiece. And only the Big Ten and only the SEC will have a national championship team, because basically every relevant Power 5 team will either be in the Big Ten or in the SEC. I don't know if that's true or not. We'll have to wait and find out. If you have any thoughts on this, please feel free to let me know, as far as why do you think it may happen? What makes USC and UCLA want to play in a conference where you're playing 3,000 miles away and traveling through 3 time zones to play an opponent? Because on the surface, that does not make any sense. Maybe we will find out eventually what the reason is. Hopefully it's not the money, because if it is, like I said, that's the wrong reason. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. Did you hear about the racing snail who got rid of his shell? He thought it would make him faster, but it just made him sluggish. And that wraps it up for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.